All right. Let's see here. All right, let me fix this real quick. Add source. Camera. OBS virtual. That will have to do it. There we go. That should be good. Why isn't my chat box working? One second, guys. One second. Let's see if I can fix my chat box. Let's see if I can fix it. What is this desktop mod? Okay. Okay. Interesting. There we go. There we go. I think we're good now. Dude, what is going on with this TikTok video I just posted? Why do I have like 5 views? Oh, it's trending up now. I don't know what. I just took. I don't know. I don't know if they, if I did something bad on my TikTok or something. I went from like averaging 50K to taking a big hit. That's okay. I'm proud of my video I posted today. Proud of my video I posted today, but it's doing pretty terrible. It happens. I dropped some knowledge, some heat in the video today, guys. We'll go over some of it. Man, this thing is doing terrible. One second, guys. All right. All right, there we go. What is happening? TikTok, stop shadow banning me. I did one stream playing a video game and not doing weather stuff, and suddenly TikTok hates me. What's going on, guys? Can't have a little fun. Gotta keep it serious. What we got going on here? It's gonna be a quicker stream. I'm gonna stream a little bit later, I think, too. Severe weather, this severe weather event through portions of Oklahoma, northern Texas, maybe even Dallas-Fort Worth could actually be somewhat significant tomorrow into Monday, Sunday into Monday, especially Sunday afternoon through Sunday evening. Obviously, Tuesday through Wednesday, major severe weather outbreak potential for really everyone out east. I mean, this could be really from the south, central, all the way up through portions of the Ohio Valley, up towards the mid-Atlantic, and down into the southeast. This whole area needs to watch out here. Probably going to have the chance for some stronger kind of supercellular discrete cells out here. EF2 plus tornado, long track tornadoes. Possible. I'm not saying it's going to happen. We've seen some downtrending in the Cape, in the instability. Definitely QLCS tornadoes. I'd expect those. Strong winds just associated with the squall line, kind of moving with the squall line. Hail, flash flooding potential. Let's look at some of our latest quantitative precipitation expected from this thing. Nothing crazy. I mean, Iowa. Although some of this is going to be snow up to the north. Actually, that's interesting. We'll have to see. Okay. Well, let's some more people get in here, and then I'll start taking questions. We'll get into all this, guys. Wait, it's backwards? What the heck? What the heck? Let me flip it. That is so weird. Flip horizontally. What the heck? Sorry, guys, I honestly don't know. I don't think that's ever happened. I don't know how that happened. Let me fix this map a little bit more for you too. That's it's kind of funny. I do not have an explanation for that. So, you know, that is weird. I guess it's just the way the virtual camera sent it over to TikTok Live. Very strange. Is that better? I was talking. I wasn't looking at chat yet. Thanks, chat. Gracias. The front was moving west. Yeah, that's actually a parallel universe, guys. Redo the first part. Okay, let's get into it before I start taking some questions. Here's what's going on. Our 18Z NAM's loading up, but it's not all the way loaded. Let's start down here. Let's start down with our first event Sunday. Okay? Let's start here. Oops, I don't want the shear. I want our... Am I in? Okay. Moving into Sunday. Here we go. What is our NAM doing? Our NAM looks stupid. Let's go to our HRRR. Here we go. Starting to see some storms. Can I actually... Will this look better a little bit farther to the south? Let me do this. Let me see if I can get a better angle on this. This is better. There we go. Moving into Sunday. Got a weak low pressure system here. Still a low pressure system. And some what looks like general thunderstorms here. We're gonna have some instability though. We're gonna see some strong winds with some of these thunderstorms, and some hail. I think is a guarantee. You know, not along this whole line, but through portions of this. This is where things start to get interesting right here. Right here. Do we have significant enough shear here? Do we have significant enough lift and shear here to put some twisty boys down here? Right now, the SPC Storm Prediction Center has the potential for some twisty boys, as we call them, tornadoes, right through this region here. Maybe the possibility of some discrete cells back here. So that's going to be... This thing really starts to fire up. This thing really starts to fire up, I would say... 4 p.m. on Sunday. 4 p.m. on Sunday. And we kind of have that threat that's going to linger until about, 11 p.m. midnight on Monday. Or on Sunday, sorry. We'll have this moving over Dallas-Fort Worth Monday morning. There's not going to be much of a tornado threat with this, although it's still possible. This is probably going to be associated with some strong winds and potential hail, though. So that's the first event. The more significant event that we're watching is our Tuesday. Here we go. Our storm system is making its way down from the Pacific Northwest. Here we go. Here's our trough. And it begins to dig down to the south central region where we get a negatively tilted trough. And oh boy, is this negatively tilted, guys. Let me show you. Here we go. Here it is. Okay. Here's our tilt. Here is our tilt. Here we go. That's actually kind of positive looking there until we move it a couple more frames, and it begins to tilt farther and farther. Let's go up to our. Let's look at a different height here. There, you can see it a little bit better here. There's that thing. There's that negative tilt tilting out to the east. What this is going to do, guys, is when you get a negatively tilting trough, this is just going to start pulling this Gulf warm air and moisture. Your winds out ahead of this thing are going to be enhanced. You're going to have some northwesterly winds out ahead of this system starting to pull a ton of moisture in. So this is looking interesting. Now, our instability with this system has been downtrending. Let's take a quick look at our CAPE on our 12Z Euro. So if we go to our CAPE, this has been downtrending a little bit. As this thing begins to move in, the thing is we're not going to have insane shear out here. So you can see there's a lot of CAPE here. There's a lot of instability out here as it starts to fire up over Oklahoma City, Dallas-Fort Worth area. This is where we would want to see if there was going to be a big, and we don't want to see it, but if there's going to be a big tornado outbreak, we'd want to fill this area up with some more CAPE here. This is when we're going to have the biggest possibility for some decent wind shear and some high velocity, and for our jets to be kind of cranking through here, lower to upper level jets to be cranking through here. This is downtrended a little bit. Let me look back and see what we were looking at one point. Let me look back a little bit. Yeah, I mean it hasn't looked that impressive as of recently. This was pretty crazy originally. A little bit of a downtrend in our CAPE. We're not getting as much into Louisiana or Arkansas. We're going to get some tornadoes out of this thing. It's almost guaranteed. Are we going to get EF2 plus long track? Are we going to get a bunch of discrete cells out ahead of this that are dropping EF2 plus long track, severe tornadoes? I don't know. I think we're guaranteed to have a decent squall line with, like I said, some QLCS tornadoes. This squall line itself is going to be associated with a lot of wind and hail. And it's going to be dropping some rainfall pretty quickly. The flash flood potential isn't as high as on this as some of our other severe weather outbreaks we've had in the beginning of the year. But we'll have to see. I think we are going to get some isolated cells out ahead of this, some kind of like clusters out ahead of this, and I think we're going to have a squall line. So there is still potential for some significant tornadoes out ahead of this. So it's just weird. I think our instability might be kind of out. Our CAPE's down slightly. We'll see. Guys, I'm struggling on if I really think this thing is going to be, and really we start knowing within 24 to 48 hours, but I'm really struggling on if this thing is going to, our last severe weather outbreak we had, a couple weeks ago, really underperformed. I'm hoping this one underperforms as well. The downtrending in instability is great. That's great to see. Although we're not going to know until Monday morning, Monday afternoon, what we're going to see. There's going to continue to be some changes. It's really, really downtrended out east. Possibility of some QLCS tornadoes out here is, we're not going to get any right now. It looks like we're not going to get any significant tornadoes out to the east, EF2 plus, anything like that. There's going to be the possibility for some squall line tornadoes out here. But this is the big question. This is still the big question. If you're down here in the southeast, if you're in the south central region, if you're in Arkansas, Tennessee, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, Texas, eastern Texas, south and eastern Oklahoma, even through portions of Georgia, even potentially up through Missouri, southern Indiana, and Kentucky as well, you need to stay weather alert and you need to keep up to date on what's going to happen with this system. We have all of the mechanisms that we need to see a tornado outbreak, to see a bad severe weather outbreak. They're all there. Is the timing of them right? Is our jet outrunning our shear? Do we have the right amount? What's our dew points out? Is the moisture in the right place? Sometimes these get sloppy. Sometimes you get, rain-cooled air out ahead of these systems, out ahead of these cells, and then your instability, drops off a cliff, and you really end up with nothing. You end up with no tornadoes in this area, which is good, which is what happened last time. I can't make the call yet. You should be prepared. Most meteorologists right now are looking at this and still calling for the possibility of a moderate risk, and that should tell you that there's still obviously a big chance. We're going to be getting into our day 3 convective outlook tomorrow from the SPC, and if they place a moderate, we'll take it seriously. We're taking it seriously regardless, but if they place a moderate, that's when things start to look really bad. I do expect a marginal risk to be placed out here. We'll see a marginal risk, something like this, guys. Meaning, everyone out here still needs to watch. There'll be, tornado potential, strong wind, hail potential. But again, getting into the day 3 outlook, that's when they'll start to put moderate or high. I don't think we're going to go high here, but we could go moderate still day 3. And again, as it pushes out towards out towards the east for our day 5 outlook for next Wednesday. We'll see what happens here. This has been downtrending, but again, we still have this slight risk already. I do think we might get an enhanced risk out here as well, which is like your 3 out of 5 kind of danger. So that's what's going on with that. Last thing, and then I'll start taking some questions. Yeah, guys, it's the models have been all over, uptrending, downtrending with this Tuesday setup. So, all right, getting into this snow, we're obviously going to have some snow out in the Rockies as the slow pressure moves in on Monday and digs down to the southeast. Here is what's interesting. We do have this is a 978 low right here. This thing goes through some bomb cyclogenesis as it moves through the south central region and starts moving up to the northeast. Latest Euro wants to drop a good amount of snow through portions of Iowa, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan. We can take a look at that real quick. Not terrible. Portions of, like I said in my video that I just posted, portions of Iowa, Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Michigan, potentially seeing 6 inches to a foot of snow. We can take a look at our GFS. What does our GFS say for this? Let's get into that real quick. GFS, same thing, wants to snow a little bit farther north, doesn't really want as much down into Iowa. But again, this is more like a 9 to 15 inch setup for someone through Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Michigan. So as we move all the way forward, the GFS wants to potentially start bringing some snow down into the south too. We'll pay attention to that. I talked about in my video what's going on with our stratospheric polar vortex. It's a little bit interesting. It's calling for another split. You don't typically see, I mean, again, you don't typically see multiple splits, polar vortex, stratospheric polar vortex splits every season. This would be interesting. Displacement of another vortice down here. Could this extend push our spring back a little bit farther, especially for portions of central and northern U.S.? It could. So that's what we're watching. Still pretty far out in the Euro, but that's something else that's kind of been that I've been looking into. So, anyways, I want to get to chat. Take some of your guys' questions. Let me move this back so you guys can see it. Okay. What's going on, Zenith? I think I'm going to live stream tonight, but just in case I don't have time, that's why I'm on right now. If I don't have time, then I want to make sure I stream today. I still plan on live streaming tonight. How's the atmosphere looking for this potential nor'easter before I go back to work? It doesn't look like the cold air is going to be there. We have the moisture. We have the low. Again, the Euro just pushed this. You know, look what happens out here on the Euro. There's our nor'easter way off the coast. So, you know, there's, like I said yesterday, when I'd give it a 2% chance, I'd still sit at a 1 to 2% chance because we're over 160 hours on this look. It's going to be tough for that cold air to be in place, and that piece of energy to the north needs to dig a little bit farther back, and right now it's all the way out here. So, Flower, what's going on? Where's Temple, Texas? You know, the area of Texas we're watching for severe weather is mainly out east. I would say it's from Dallas, Fort Worth down to Houston. It's out here. You're going to get some squall lines. This squall line developing over central Texas, but it's really going to we're going to really start to see, you know, unless you have a strong jet forcing its way into all this moisture and instability, you're not going to really get anything spinning up too significantly. So you're going to start to see things, the potential for tornadoes really amplify out here because you're going to have the instability moving into these, you know, this mid-level 120 knot winds. So our lower level jet looks crazy, actually, I think, on this latest run. Let's look at our low level jet. Look at this low level jet. 90 knots. Yeah, I mean, yeah, 90 knots, guys. And this is at the 850 millibar level. So this is right above our heads down at the floor. So that's pretty strong. What is 90 knots? Like 105 mile per hour wind or something like that? Let me see. I was close, guys. Did you guys see that? I thought 90 knots was 105 mile per hour. It's 103. At round up, it's 104. I was close. It was quick. I was trying to do quick math in my head to impress you guys, but I was pretty close. I'm not in aviation. I don't need to know that off the top of my head. Um, out east, what's snow looking like for PA? Yeah, I mean, there's still potential, but we need to see some drastic changes over the next 48 to 72 hours with this piece. We need to see some big changes out here with listen, we got all sorts of divergence happening here in the mid levels. We need to see this piece dive to help tilt this thing up to the northeast. We need to see, or we need to see this piece of energy right here. I would say we need to see this piece of energy slow down and amplify to get cold air down into around this low pressure and to help steer it up into the northeast. So this thing's way too far to the north right now and way too far out to the east to give us any chance for a nor'easter. But this is 180 hours out, so you know that's you kind of close to La La Land. We still need to see how this adjusts. What about St. Louis, Missouri? Hey, I expect. Let's go to our day 4 probabilistic. You guys are in the slight. You guys are in the slight risk right now. There's a small chance you guys may get into the enhanced risk. We may see this enhanced juice up. I think we'll know Monday morning. We'll have to see. We're gonna get a marginal extending out here as well too, but you guys need to watch out for some severe weather Tuesday. It's not out of the question we can get some tornadoes up here to the north. You're gonna get rain, wind, potential hail in and around the area, but tornadoes, tornadoes are possible too. I'd say your long track severe tornado possibility is going to be down here. Is going to stay down here to the south though. Tyson, I appreciate you. Thank you, Tyson. Roger, what's going on? I appreciate the follows. Appreciate the subs, guys. Thank you. If the tornadoes don't get you, wind will. I mean, you're going to have very strong downdrafts associated with this frontal boundary. So are you going to have severe winds guaranteed with this frontal boundary? No. Portions of the front will be packing a heavier punch than others. So if you want to take a look really quickly at kind of what our wind forecast is for this, let's move forward in time. Look at these winds, man. Oh my gosh. Surface level winds. Look at this. We've got 40 to 60. Now this would probably, we'd probably see gusts above this. We'd probably see gusts close to hurricane force strength through this region. Potentially, not for everyone, for some portions of Alabama, Mississippi, Tennessee, and Kentucky. Those are some high winds. Look out here, out towards the plains too. 50, 60 mile per hour gusts. But yeah, Kentucky, Tennessee, Alabama, Mississippi, that wind is cranking. And then that begins to move up to the north too. You can see what happens. Look at this in Kentucky. 66 miles per hour. Again, usually these underdo the winds a little bit, guys. So, yeah, that's going to be a lot of wind. Yeah. Tennessee Valley, Kentucky Valley, you're going to see some good winds Tuesday. That's for sure. Snow for Maine. What is this? This first one's going to be rain. Back end snow, potentially. You can see what happens here, 976. This could, if this thing shifts a little bit farther east, drop a bunch of snow up here, probably inland Maine, not coastal. But, this second system right here, I think still has potential. This still has potential to cut up the coast. If it does, I'd say most of New England's going to be on watch. But right now, that's how it looks. This future radar isn't going to be perfect. It's going to be pretty wrong once you get out 160 plus hours. You guys know that. Temple is below Waco. I don't know where anything is in Texas, guys. I'm just being honest. Okay, so yeah, you guys are between Dallas and Austin. Yeah, you guys are going to be close. Most of this, the dangerous tornadoes, if we get any developing, are probably going to develop out to your east. Not impossible for you guys to get into a QLCS type situation. Wind and hail in that area. You guys are are you guys in the risk zone right now from the SBC? Let me take a look. Yeah, I mean, you guys are pretty close to being in that slight risk, so you'll definitely be in the marginal. So, yeah. strong tornadoes are possible in your area. I think they're more likely out to your east, but they're still possible. You know, the timeline, what would the timeline look like for you guys? For this thing really firing up, what's the latest on the timeline? Let's see. All right, there's our first little thing. Okay, this starts to come in. This starts to really fire up. Yeah, Tuesday around 6 a.m. 7 a.m., 6, 7 a.m. This starts to really, really crank up. And then this is where things start to get dangerous, where you could get some discrete cells. Look at all these out ahead of your main squall line. These things are dangerous. These little tiny cells out ahead of the squall line. You see some pretty far north too. You're not gonna have the velocity. Your jet's not gonna be really cranking up here to the north. So you could get weaker tornadoes, but the really, really strong ones, it's gonna be through here where you have that jet stream punching through, or your lower mid-level jet punching through. So at the end of the year, the snow's pretty close to Texas. Oh, here. Yeah, the end of the Euro has another big kind of dig of cold air. Yeah, I mean, this is interesting. It's not impossible to get one more chance for snow down to the south. It's just less and less likely. You know, we see what's happening in the second week with our stratospheric polar vortex. So you can see, yeah, I mean, the Euro and GFS still want to put snow down potentially into Oklahoma, Kansas, and Arkansas at the end of their runs. So not shocking. I mean, guys, snow, people don't realize. I know we just had a foot of snow in Destin, Florida. Weird things happen, guys. There's been plenty of years where in mid to late March, we've gotten snow much farther to the south than people expected. It happens. It's not very likely. You can see what the GFS does. Some pretty heavy snow down there. Pretty far south, Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas. This is very, very strong snow. Now, this is like a weird cold core low where you have the coldest air at the center of your low pressure system at like the 500 millibar level, and this is one of those low pressures that I've talked about that produces its own cold air. It's not even associated with our polar jet up here to the north, so you got like 50s, 60s, 70s temperatures all around, and then you're freezing in here because it's a cold core low. So that's also something that can do it. Look at the end of the GFS, still a lot of snow wanting to dig down. Look at that snow digging down to Arizona. This would be big snow down into like Big Bear, Arizona, New Mexico. So still a lot of snow potentials. We'll watch. We'll see if this cold air can really make. I'm not seeing anything that shows a big collapse of our polar jet, but I'm seeing potential for it. Do I think there might be some tornadoes in Houston? You guys have there's definitely a potential for tornadoes in Houston. 100%. Yes. I mean, let me just keep this up on a different screen. Going into our day 4. So you guys are right outside of the slight. The slight might, there's been a couple severe weather outbreaks in recent memory where they don't include Houston in the slight or in the marginal or in whatever kind of the risk zone is. And it's strange to me because you guys, while the strongest winds with your kind of lower mid-level jet may be up to your north and east, you guys get some significant winds just off the water, being close to the water, that can actually help with your instability and tornado potential down here. So there's a lot of times where they leave Houston out of these risk zones. And it happened in January where they left you out of this risk zone. And then we saw, I don't know if you guys remember, it was like 6 or 7 tornadoes that happened in and around Houston where like the slight risk was up to your northeast. So I'm concerned for Houston. We're not expecting any massive wedge supercell tornado to be punching through Houston. It's not an impossibility. You need to stay weather alert. But I do think sometimes they keep that slight risk a little bit too far to the north. So we'll be watching Houston. It's a possibility. Outbreak tonight. We'll see. I had so much fun last night. Chat. For you guys who weren't, I decided to stream Outbreak last night, the tornado chasing game. This was actually funny. You guys know Mesomat. We were playing this game last night, Outbreak. Watch Matt's car just get thrown through the air. Wait for it, chat. Here he goes. You see his car? I'm just driving past him. I'm like, what is that? There he goes. That was actually hilarious. I just saw Matt get thrown across the whole map. That was fun. How's Tulsa looking? Again, you get tons of instability to start the day off over here, but we don't see this mass trough ejection until this storm moves out to the east. We don't see these strong velocities until we don't see the jet really start to kick in until we get a little bit farther out to the east. That's why it's weird when you look at this, because we could look at, let's go to our severe weather, let's go to our Cape. You could look at this and say, if we're just looking at Cape, convective available potential energy, and you'd be like, man, this looks crazy, right? Look at all this Cape out here to the west. Great. This means nothing if you don't have a strong lower mid-level jet moving through with it. So if you're not seeing a significant amount of wind shear either. So you start to see that wind shear pick up as this negative tilt digs in. Start to see the wind shear pick up, and you start to see our jets pick up. And that's why this area is what we're watching. But watch what happens as we move forward in time. This instability over that area out to the east begins to die off. But a lot of people are thinking this is still enough to produce some strong tornadoes. A lot of people are thinking this is going to uptrend. A lot of times it does uptrend once you get within 24 to 48 hours. Models aren't great with forecasting Cape past about, really past 72 hours, but really past about 24 hours, if we're being honest. All right, don't spam. Snow in St. Louis, we're not seeing any right now. Yeah, we might play again tonight. It was a good time. I told him, I said, we're doing this at least once a week on the weekends. Laddie, I appreciate you. Tyson. Let me see this real quick. Give me a second. Yeah, right now we're seeing snow to the north of St. Louis. We're not seeing snow into St. Louis right now. It's not an impossibility. Let's go into our ensembles really quickly. If you guys want to see where we have some snow potential in our future, let's go into our ensembles real quick. Let's go into our European ensemble, United States, winter. I know people are going to want to say panels. Surface winter. Okay. Is this our 12Z? Here's our Euro ensemble. Just through March 16th, where it thinks we could get some more snowfall. The grays, I would count from where the dark gray is. So, right there. GFS ensemble, what are we looking at? It's what our GFS is seeing. Canadian? Some pretty strong agreement between them. Inland New England still sticking out. Portions of the Midwest, obviously out here. The Rockies are. You don't need a great pattern to get tons of snow out there in the Rockies. Should those in the Mississippi Delta area lead? When you live in Mississippi, you have the potential all year long to get severe weather like this. So this isn't something where I'd say leave. This isn't like a hurricane, like a major hurricane making landfall. As long as you're weather alert and you understand what's happening around you, you're going to be safe. People, if you have somewhere to go with family that's maybe out of the way of this kind of worst, kind of enhanced risk area, that's not too far, it's not the worst idea, but you can't just displace a bunch of people every time severe weather moves through here, because it happens a lot. Let's get back here. Give me a second, guys. Arkansas is getting snow. Yeah, you know, there's some models that want to put snow back into Arkansas at the end of these runs. It's interesting. The end of the Euro and the end of the GFS. The end of the GFS actually has snow moving through this region potentially. So you can see what's happening at the end of the Euro. This is kind of out in La La Land, but this is a trough digging down with the low pressure system. We could see something down there. End of the run. Can't take it too seriously quite yet, but it's a signal that we'll watch. We can go again tonight if you want. I'm down to go for a little bit tonight, Matt. I'm down. It's a good time. Maybe we can get a fourth and go on a private server. Will the severe weather move east into Georgia and North Carolina? Yes, it will. Yeah, it'll be moving into Georgia and into the Carolinas likely Wednesday morning. Will the severe weather move east into... I just answered that. Bro thinks he's Ryan Hall. Listen, my question for Isaac is, does anyone who is a weather enthusiast or meteorology who does weather content online, do they all think they're Ryan Hall? Is that kind of, you can't do this unless you think you're Ryan Hall? You know what? It is actually, yeah, that's my bad. I did not know that Ryan Hall was the gatekeeper of weather information. But thank you for that update. Ohio for the next storm. This one right here. You know, I wonder. Central to southern Ohio is probably going to be in a marginal risk. Central to southern Ohio is probably going to end up being in a marginal risk. So, you guys aren't looking like you're in danger of any severe tornadoes. But, wind, hail, maybe some EF0, EF1s passing through central to southern Ohio is a possibility. That'd probably be what, Tuesday night and Wednesday morning. Let's look at the timing of this. Yeah, late Tuesday into Wednesday morning. You could have a second round behind that as well, though. Late Tuesday and really into Wednesday afternoon. You're going to have to stay weather alert there. Is snow coming into North Carolina? Maybe into the mountains. It's going to be hard to get into the lowlands as we get farther into March. Into the low elevation. Yeah, this severe weather is going to be moving into North Carolina Wednesday morning and kind of be making its way out east through Wednesday afternoon. Is Dallas a concern? Potentially. This severe weather begins to fire up around Dallas. So, around Dallas up through Oklahoma City. Here we go. This right now, this time frame would be Tuesday morning at around 7 a.m. So, we're expecting our low mid-level jet to intensify as this thing pushes out to the east. We're going to have the instability here, but we're really not going to have the velocities. You could see strong winds, hail with the squall line that begins to form out here through central Texas up through the DFW. There's a reason the slight risk is a little farther out east than the enhanced risk, because until your jet starts really punching through this region, starts really punching into this low, out ahead of this low, and the low really starts to dig in and negatively tilt, which it will in the south central region as it pushes out to the east. That's when you get your shear, and that's when you get your high velocity winds, and that's when you can see your significant tornado threat. So, could you get a tornado out here, DFW? Yes, you could. Strong winds and hail, definitely. The more significant tornadoes are expected to be out to the east, but anyone out here still needs to pay attention. Everyone out here still needs to pay attention. Tuesday. Things are going to change too. This is guys, we're looking at a future radar. Everyone that comes out is going to give us more and more, typically better and better information. But sometimes these systems slow down. Sometimes they speed up. Sometimes, some of the data starts to see, uptrends or downtrends. So we just got to keep watching it. How is Chicago looking? Chicago's going to get some thunderstorms. I don't know if we're going to get any sort of severe, I'd say watch out for the potential for some heavy down. What's weird is originally it looked like we were going to have the heaviest rainfall through portions of the Ohio Valley down towards Tennessee, Kentucky. Right now, you can see what's happening up here. Flash flooding actually might be a potential for up here in the Midwest. So that's my son at the door. Hi, Fisher. Hi, Fisher. Fisher, do you want to say hi to the stream? Our Girl Scout is here. Fisher, do you want to say hi to the stream? Come here. Go to Daddy. Come here. Yeah, I'm going to show you to the stream. Ugh. Blue and red, yes. Can you say hi, stream? Say hi, stream.
Hi, stream.
Good job, thank you.
Wawa.
Yes, this is Daddy's Wawa energy drink. Can you say? Yeah. Do you see that? Severe weather.
Oop.
Say hi. Hi, stream. Say hi, stream. What's on your lips? Oh, you eating chocolate? Okay, can you say bye, stream? Say bye, stream.
The stream.
Yeah, this is the stream, exactly. Okay. Thank you. Oh, Dimmy cookies, okay. Yummy cookies. I'm back. Thanks, guys. He said, hi, Dream. What attributes would we need to get snow down into Texas? Well, listen. As we push farther into March and April, obviously, the sun goes higher and higher above our head. And why does the sun being more above our head make it warmer? Because when the sun's at an angle, it has to go through way more atmosphere before it gets to us. And a lot of that heat is subtracted as it's moving through more layers of the atmosphere. Once it's above our head, it goes through a lot thinner of an atmosphere, and you get more of that heat, more of that sunlight down to the surface. So for us to get snow down into the south as we push farther into March and into the beginning of April, you need a significant polar jet collapse. You need the coldest, the jet stream that's holding the coldest air in the world, because the coldest air in the world is in the northern hemisphere, not in the southern hemisphere. By the way, we winning. But it's just because it has to do with the geography over the Arctic. You need a significant collapse, which typically means you need a significant heating event to our north that's going to squeeze that polar jet, or a high pressure to build to our north, which is going to disrupt our polar jet and have it collapse down to the south. So what I look at, if I'm like, is there a possibility for a big collapse of the polar jet out in the future? I'm looking to see if we have any sort of signal of a high pressure building up in Canada or over the Arctic to our north, out in the teleconnections. And speaking of the teleconnections, guys, our teleconnections are telling us a very interesting story here. Our teleconnections are showing a negative AO. You guys know what that means. This isn't super negative, but that's our polar jet weakening as we move through mid to the end of March, and a negative NAO. A negative NAO promotes storm tracks out to the east. So this type of look, if it were a month earlier, which we had this type of look a month ago, this is great for winter storms into the south and east. Now that we're pushing into March, we just got into March, but we're going to be pushing through March. We need this AO. A -2 here isn't going to do it for us. We need this puppy down here, which is possible. You could see this start to collapse on our teleconnection. We'll have to see. But this is this is not a terrible outlook. We want that EPO to go -2. It's not a terrible outlook for potential snow central, for at least a small chance to get snow back into the south mid to late March. A small chance. There's some years where I've looked and been like, by the third, fourth week in February, I'm looking ahead at the outlook and I'm like, we're done. We are done. even in central U.S., where it just looks like we're just going to have this big heating event over the states. I'm not seeing that. So it's very hard to get snow into the south once you get into March, obviously. So, but with this type of look, it's not an impossibility. You always need a little bit of luck on your side with this type of stuff. Timing is everything with how these systems move. And low-level winds in southwest Oklahoma Tuesday morning. Let's look at our... Are you looking at the NAM? What are you looking at? Let me go to the HRRR. How far out am I gonna? No, I'm not gonna see far enough out on the HRRR. Let's quickly jump down here into the south. So these are our 850 millibar height winds. We're at about 1,000 millibars on the surface. This is our Tuesday event. This is like Monday at midnight going into Tuesday morning. And watch this thing begin to crank up right here, right there. This you start to see this begin to crank up significantly between 6 a.m. on Tuesday and probably around 3 p.m. Here we go. And this is when we start seeing our tornado threat kind of jump through the roof. We could see this, guys. We could see this amplification farther out to the west. We could see it happen out here. Because we're talking about we're still 72 hours out. That's why I say don't take the risk zone at its word right now. Do not look at this and be like, I'm not in it. We've seen this shift multiple times already. Originally, this risk zone, guys, was like this. It was like laying sideways. Like it's done all sorts of weird things. But these are pretty, I mean, again, we were seeing, what were we seeing earlier? Close to 90 knots as this thing cranks up. Here we go. Close to 90 knots. And that would be about 100 and close to 105 mile per hour winds just above our head. Helping to, spin these things up. So, look at that, man. That's crazy. There was a tornado in Temple, Texas, like 9 months ago. It was like 2 houses down from me. Yeah, that's scary. You probably heard it whipping. I've been through one tornado during Hurricane Francis when I was living in when I was at my mom's house in Palm City, Florida. A tornado went right over our house. And, yeah, it sounded like a freight train. We were in the closet. It was scary as shit. What's that sound? Fire watching 40 mile per hour winds Monday here. Flower out there. Let's see what's going on with your winds there. Yeah. Yep, this is Monday. Some gusts. Yeah, up and around 40 miles per hour. Portions of New Mexico. You guys have been pretty dry, huh? We were looking at, actually, speaking of dry, look at this. Where is it? Was it? Actually, portions of New Mexico didn't do that bad. Didn't have that terrible of a snow drought. This, though, is because of that. This was because of that very early season snowfall. Because this is starting October 1st. We don't really want to look at this from October 1st. Look at Arizona. Look at that snow drought. Arizona, southern Utah. I haven't looked at the drought monitor for the country in quite a while. I should take a look at that. I mean, the Southwest has been extremely dry. That's all I know. Which is, I mean, that's not atypical with the Enzo that we're in. October, November was when they got the big snowfall. Yeah. I get so scared. Here, let me pull this out real quick. Okay, there we go. I get so scared of... Wait. Storm Eversense. How do I not get... Wait, what? That didn't make any sense. I get so scared of Storm Eversense. How do I not get scared? Okay, I think you need to reword that. Super dry in Lubbock, Texas. Yep. Texas has been dry. Not all of it, but most of it. Thought on enhanced day 3. Are we talking about... What, you think something's going to go enhanced on day 3? What do you mean by that? Eastern PA snow for the rest of the season chances? Maybe 5%. I don't see an enhanced happening on day 3. Day 4, we already have it enhanced. Moderate. I think there's about a 50-50 chance we get a moderate put there tomorrow. Oh, you're talking about moving into day 3. I think we're going to upgrade to a moderate. And I think the slight and enhanced may expand a tiny bit, and then we're going to get our marginal as well. We'll see a big change on this tomorrow, I think. So what does the yellow color mean? So if we're talking about... Here. Let me show you one that... Here we go, down here. So this is our general thunderstorms. Okay, you could have some general bad thunderstorms. Maybe you could get some strong winds, light hail, small hail. Then you get into marginal. This is really when you get into the chance to... You could see, marginal... You could see a tornado with general thunderstorm watch. This is when you get into... You could get some EF0, EF1 tornadoes. If they think there's a chance for an EF2 plus tornado, very, very strong tornadoes, even a chance, you get the slight risk. If they think... you get the slight or enhanced risk. If they think that there's a strong chance that you are likely to see very powerful long track tornadoes, EF2 plus, EF3, EF4, you get put into a moderate. And if there's a guarantee, you get put into a high. So that's all it is. So this is, some people call it like this. This is your 1 out of 5 risk, 2 out of 5, 3 out of 5, 4 out of 5, 5 out of 5. We very, very, very rarely ever see high. Very, very super rare. This is pretty rare as well, but we see it every now and then. This is the area that we're usually dealing with when we get some big severe weather outbreaks. Now, we think we could get on Tuesday a moderate, which would be a level 4 out of 5 severe threat. There is something above high. You just never see it. Celine, what's going on? One second, guys. Un momento. Any word on Maryland? I mean, you guys are going to be at a slight risk on Wednesday. Wednesday morning to Wednesday afternoon, you guys got to watch out. You could have some strong thunderstorms moving through. Squall line. QLCS tornadoes are possible all up and down the eastern seaboard on Wednesday. Those are weaker tornadoes, but they can still do some damage. Free, I appreciate you. Terry, I appreciate you. Thank you, guys. Yeah, Green Bay, we're worried about heavy. We're worried about heavy. Well, let's look at the let's look what the Euro does up there. The Euro wants maybe some back end snow in the Green Bay, but a lot of rainfall in the Green Bay. We can look at our total quantitative precipitation up there in Wisconsin, and it's pretty high over a pretty short period of time. 1 to 2 inches, possibly 3 isolated, I would say. Wisconsin, maybe into the Twin Cities, Iowa. and northern Indiana. Looking down here, this looks pretty good as well. Eastern, western Missouri, eastern Kansas. This originally, it looked like we were gonna have our heaviest rainfall down here. That rainfall has shifted way up to the north over the last 72 hours. Your chance, a lot of times your chances go down for some bad severe for the worst severe weather when your rainfall totals go up because you get such rain cooled air. You're not gonna have as much instability. So, again, you can see a lot. I would look at this and say almost where you see these drier pockets, excluding down here because these are going to be the really strong bands kicking off. But this is obviously where you're going to have the biggest severe weather threat. We reject rain and request snow. Same. I feel the same way. Indiana. Yeah. Did I say? I'm going to say Illinois earlier. Yeah, Indiana, this is going to start moving through. What's our time frame for Indiana? Tuesday night? Tuesday night all the way through Wednesday. You're going to have your initial band move through and then potentially a back end band right there. You can see it. 1, 2, and then do we get some back end snow pumping into Indiana? The Euro thinks so. This would be light. Maybe someone gets an inch or two out of luck, but this would be very light, probably a dusting to a half inch for most if we were to see that wrap back around, but it's going to be almost 48 hours of precipitation from the start of this severe weather moving through all the way to the end. We could see our marginal risk encompass most of Indiana as well, which means you'll probably have a slight tornado risk as well. Tuesday night all the way through portions of, through a lot of Wednesday. I'm flying from Charlotte to Los Angeles Tuesday morning. Yeah, you should be fine. They're going to fly over this. Planes a lot of times fly up into the stratosphere to get over these systems, so Tuesday morning, your plane should have no problem getting out. So let me block this person. Tuesday morning, you guys should have no problem taking off, and you'll likely go up into the stratosphere and fly right over this system. Now, if you're landing Tuesday, this is going to be, you guys will be fine because then, that timing looks fine for takeoff and landing. I'm looking at the European model right now, the 12Z. I am. Woo! Look at stretch. What's the chances of this not being so strong? To me, it's a 50-50 right now. We're seeing models downtrend, but which looks good for it being weaker. But we've seen too many times where you get into the last 24, 48-hour stretch and suddenly everything upticks. So it's just, are we going to get that correction in the last 24 hours or not? So to me, it's all up in the air. I'm not leaning one way or another right now. We have all of the ingredients for a major severe weather outbreak or a major tornado outbreak. We have all the ingredients. They have to be timed right. You can't have your jet pumping out too far ahead of your greatest convection potential. So these things have to be timed right. They have to be in the right place at the right time. Or else, again, you can get rain-cooled air out of the head of the system. It completely erases your chances for these strong tornadoes. Your shear can be messed up. Like, there's a lot of things that can happen. All the ingredients for a major severe weather outbreak or major tornado outbreak are going to be there. But the question is on the timing of all of these different things that are happening. So, and typically these models understand the timing. Guess what? Within the last 24 hours. That's when we get all our short range models in and we have a pretty good look at it. Georgia being under tornado risk after our hurricane season last year is scary. You guys, I mean, getting into spring, guys, I don't want to scare anyone, but Enzo neutral into a weak La Nina years, especially the fact that we're moving into MJO phase 8 and 1 right now. Most meteorologists are calling for this spring severe weather season to potentially be record breaking. Doesn't mean it's going to be record breaking. It means they're looking at the outlook and the atmospheric setup, and they're saying we need to really lock in right now because there's the potential for a record breaking season. That typically happens when you're in an Enzo neutral weak La Nina, especially in Enzo neutral, because you have a very weak jet stream, and you get this meridional troughing. So you get this troughing that's diving, ridging, troughing, and you're getting all of this interaction between different air boundaries, cold, warm, dry, moist. So you combine that with the MJO Phase 8-1, where you have this kind of extra moisture potential, because I mean all the Madden Julian oscillation is a big low pressure pocket of moisture that circles the globe seasonally, and so if you pack that on top, that just increases your moisture potential. So potential for close to record breaking water temps, if not record breaking water temps down in the Gulf. It's just another ingredient. So you still need timing and stuff to be right, but again, there's all the ingredients there for this to be a record breaking spring severe weather season as well. That's why meteorologists are calling for it. I'm not saying that for views or likes or anything. It's just what it is. It is what it is. Connor should be teaching weather. You're great at it. Jewel, I appreciate that. Thank you, Jewel. Maybe in the future. It's something I consider. What's up, Fade? Yeah, Fade, it's not looking great. We were talking about this before with this nor'easter. I think I said yesterday 2% chance. I'll still give it a 2% chance. We're 160 hours plus out. Here's all our major divergence that's happening down here. What's divergence? That's when you go up in the atmosphere, your air is moving away from each other, and that allows for your air particles to move up into that empty sector. That's how you get lift. That's how you get convection and storms. So you've got winds aloft moving away from each other, and stuff down at the surface is going to go up and fill that, and that's going to be water. That's going to be moisture, and that's going to obviously move up into the upper layers of the atmosphere. It's going to condense into clouds. So we have tons. You can see all this like frilly looking orange stuff. That's divergence that you're seeing there. So we have the energy, the moisture, and everything that we need in place for a nor'easter, right? What we don't have is cold air. The coldest air is right up here. This is kind of our polar jet. This is our freezing air. There's some models that dig this thing, that slow it down and dig it down farther into the south like this. Here's it. This is it. This is it right now. We want it more like this, and backed up a little bit to help these winds. This would create some northwesterly winds to move this up to the northwest, and it would bring in that colder air. We don't see that right now in this latest model run. This is 160, 180 hours out still. So there's time for that to change. So that's why I say there's potential, because there is. You just need one piece of energy to slow down. But will it slow down? We don't know yet. We don't know yet. Wow, the wind is whipping outside here again. I hope I don't lose power again. I might get off here because I think I'm going to get back on and stream again later tonight. I do want to go to the gym. I've been missing the gym too much, guys. Too much weather. I did do a pretty detailed my video today on my TikTok page. It's on my YouTube, Instagram. It is pretty detailed on all the stuff I'm talking about now. I get into the severe weather threat. There's a severe weather threat, northern Texas, Panhandle, Oklahoma, near the Oklahoma Panhandle as well. Sunday, guys. Tomorrow into Monday. I go over that in my video. I go over the severe weather. I go over the snow potential to the north, and I go over what's potentially happening with our stratospheric polar vortex mid-March, and what that could do pushing spring back a little bit more for us. So if I didn't answer your question, I'm sorry, but I do go over that in my video today. I appreciate this. Appreciate the follows. Appreciate the gifts. Appreciate you guys being in here. I will most likely be on later tonight to stream some more. So enjoy your Saturday, and I might see you guys later. I appreciate you guys. See you later.